Hey YouTube, it's Eric. Just another quick video. I promise this time it will be a quick video. I won't be going for 48 minutes or so. But this news just broke now. But Jesuit Joe Biden has picked Kamala Harris to be his vice presidential candidate. And like I didn't like publicly make a video on this, but I was saying like to my roommate here. I said to him like 7 or 8 months ago that Jesuit Joe Biden's going to pick Kamala Harris as his vice presidential running mate for the reason that when Kamala Harris was district attorney in San Francisco, she was a protector of pedophile Roman Catholic priests. And given the Jesuitized society we live in, this makes her the perfect candidate to be vice president. Mainly for this reason. This is why I was able to predict Kamala Harris would be the vice president of the United States. And also, while she was Attorney General, she tried to keep inmates locked up for cheap prison labor. So she's a good Jesuitess. It's a perfect pick for Jesuit Joe. Perfect pick. You know, of course, Jesuit Joe has honorary degrees from Jesuit Scranton and Jesuit St. Joe's in Philadelphia. His son Hunter has a degree from Jesuit Georgetown, was sent to the Jesuit Volunteer Corps down in Jamaica. I think that's where he met his wife. I wonder if that's where he got addicted to cocaine too. But Hunter Biden also, while Jesuit Joe was vice president of the United States, Hunter Biden made billions of dollars being on the boards of Burisma and Bohai Harvest. And there's literally a video of Jesuit Joe Biden bragging to the Council on Foreign Relations that he got the Ukrainian prosecutor fired who was looking into the company Burisma for shady corruption practices, the same company that Jesuit-trained Hunter Biden was on the board of directors of. So Kamala Harris is the perfect candidate. I just wanted to highlight it. I recommend it, and I have the video that The Intercept put out on my YouTube channel and on my backup here, Eric77 number 2. But you see here, Kamala Harris was a gatekeeper for pedophile priests while DA in San Francisco. I recommend you guys check out this Intercept video and read the article. You see here, and then basically the story is the previous DA, Hallinan. What was the first name here? Terrence Hallinan here. The previous district attorney was building up a case for like 15 years against the Archdiocese of San Francisco and primarily the Archbishop there, Levada. And so Terrence Hallinan was building up the case for like 15 years. He subpoenaed numerous documents. And then when Harris took over, the case died. She probably destroyed all the documents on the advice of the Jesuits at the University of San Francisco. Here's a quote from one of the survivors of pedophile Catholic priest in San Francisco. It went from Terrence Hallinan going 100 miles an hour full speed ahead after the Catholic Church to Kamala Harris doing absolutely nothing. And that's why she's the perfect vice presidential candidate. She did absolutely nothing against the pedophile Catholic priest in San Francisco. Isn't that nice? And she's now the vice president. And it's just perfect. Of course, she's black, so they're going to be able to gaslight all the naive black people in the U.S. and it can go along with the Black Lives Matter mob and narrative, having Kamala Harris now as the vice presidential candidate. And this is, Jesuit Joe Biden said, "You're not black if you don't vote for me." The same guy that said that I wrote the damn bill, talking about the 1994 crime bill. Jesuit Joe Biden said, "I wrote the damn bill." This bill literally put exponentially more black people in prison for like petty drug crimes and misdemeanors. He said, I wrote the damn bill. That's a quote from Jesuit Joe Biden. And now you got Kamala Harris as his VP, the progressive minority candidate who literally advocated for prison labor while she was Attorney General and gatekept for pedophile Catholic priests. It's so, wow. And again, it's so easy to predict. Like I predicted this like 7 or 8 months ago that Biden would pick Harris. Yeah, so I recommend you guys check out this article here. See if I can just get some direct quotes from it here. So when Harris became San Francisco District Attorney in 2004, she took over an office that had been working closely with survivors of sexual abuse to pursue the cases against the Catholic Church. The office and the survivors were in the middle of a legal battle to hold predatory priests accountable, and Harris inherited a collection of personal files involving allegations of sexual abuse by priests and employees of the San Francisco Archdiocese, which oversees church operations in San Francisco, Marin, and San Mateo counties. The files had been compiled by investigators working under the direction of Terrence Hallinan, the radical district attorney, who Harris ousted in a contentious election campaign. Hallinan's team had prosecuted cases of abuse that had occurred decades earlier and had gathered evidence as part of a probe into widespread clergy sexual conduct. And it was just 6 months before Harris took office, a U.S. quote Supreme Court decision, the Jesuits' U.S. Supreme Court. Literally, it's modeled off of a Roman temple. You got literally like John Roberts, who could become the first American Pope as the Chief Justice. A U.S. Supreme Court decision, Supreme Court overturned a California law that had retroactively eliminated the statute of limitations for criminal prosecution of child molestation cases. Wow, isn't that nice and reassuring that the U.S. Supreme Court is protecting Catholic pedophile priests also by eliminating the statute? Or by getting rid of a California law that eliminated the statute of limitations. Would you look at that? And ultimately, that's interesting because with the new California Child Victims Act that was just passed, and there's a lawsuit that's being filed against the Jesuits filed by Attorney Jeff Anderson. The U.S. Supreme Court could just overturn the California Child Victims Act, which they probably will because it's the Jesuit court. You see, in her 7 years as district attorney, Harris's offices did not proactively assist in civil cases against clergy sex abuse and ignored requests by activists and survivors to access the cache of investigative files. Well, isn't that nice of Kamala Harris? She ignored victims who were raped over and over again by predator Roman Catholic priests. These victims were asking to see the files of the evidence of the Roman Catholic priests having knowledge of the crimes that were committed against them. And Kamala Harris said, nope. No access for you, she says. I recommend you guys read this article. And the main bishop that was overseeing this was Archbishop William Levada, who was actually promoted to the head of the Inquisition. This guy became the head of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith. That's the Inquisition. They just renamed it. That's why you had the Hitler Youth. Joseph Ratzinger was the head of the Inquisition before he became Pope, and he notoriously covered up sex abuse cases while he was a cardinal in Munich, even with his pedophile priest brother, that being Pope Benedict XVI. So here's the bishop that ultimately Kamala Harris was protecting. And that's why she's now possibly could be the vice president of the United States. You see, it says right in the Wikipedia, while he was Archbishop, Levada was criticized for covering up sexual abuse by priests within his jurisdiction. He served from May 2005 until 2012, he got his promotion. He served as prefect for the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith under Pope Benedict XVI. He was the highest ranking American in the Roman Curia. That's who Harris was protecting. So, but created a cardinal. He was made a cardinal after the scandal too. Wow. The people think the church is going to change. The naive Catholics on the plantation. Okay, but I just wanted to highlight that. I don't want to make this video too long, but that this is the reason why Kamala Harris is now the possible vice president of the United States. And you see here's just a minute. Let's see how the Jesuit MSNBC is covering it.
Here, the must-see trustee. If you are having your wages garnished, it is undoubtedly not something you enjoy. I am often asked if
Yeah, wasn't that briefing too that we got like two pedophiles like running against each other for president of the United States? Creepy Joe and Donald Trump, Donald Jesuit Trump. The guy who like makes jokes about having sex with his daughter. Howard Stern like literally says to him on live TV, yeah, like Ivanka's a fine piece of ass. And Trump says, yeah, she is. Literally, like it's, oh man, the Jesuit theater is so ridiculous now.
The vice president's website now indicating that he has selected Kamala Harris, the Democratic senator from California, who of course ran for president in this cycle on the Democratic side of the aisle.
And actually, this is one of the videos that Jesuit Loyola University failed in their attempt to shut down my YouTube channel over. But they attempted that. They had bogus copyright strike when clearly this falls under the Fair Use Act, and that's why I won my lawsuit against them. But they actually had a Democratic Party debate at the Jesuit University, and I have the video on my channel. It's your Jesuit Loyola Marymount University prepares for Democratic Party debate. Actually, there was like 2 or 3 other Catholic universities that hosted Democrat Party debates, and like the current chairman of the Democrat Party, Tom Perez, was educated by Jesuits. I believe I actually even have an article on my Jesuit World Order page archived on him. Tom Perez was educated by Jesuits at Canisius College. He was the Secretary of Labor in the Obama administration, or when Jesuit Joe Biden was vice president. And you got Jesuit trained Tom Perez. Yeah, right here. This was an article from America Magazine, typed literally New Democratic, and of course America Magazine is the Jesuit magazine. Here, quote, new Democratic Party leader Tom Perez has deep Jesuit connections. You know, that's probably why they're literally having Democrat Party debates overtly on Jesuit campuses. And you know, this is why, you know, this Kamala Harris now being the VP, you know, as I've shown you, is completely Jesuitical, given that she's protected pedophile Catholic priest while she was DA. She advocated for prison labor. So she's really just a monster. And that's, then again, like this photo I have accurately depicts Jesuits. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. See, that's why I have the Joker face on with the Jesuit. You see here, because these are true wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, but we're going to continue with the Jesuit MSNBC here.
Did not win, had some contentious moments involving Joe Biden, but nonetheless, the former
I'm going to dislike this. Everyone should dislike the video. I encourage you.
Kamala Harris is the person who can help him win in November on the ticket with him.
And again, like this is ultimate racism from the Jesuits. Like they're actually saying, like, we think the black people of America are so stupid, we're just going to throw out a black candidate and they're just going to vote for her like suckers just because she's black. And again, like that, and again, like that's like me saying, like, oh, I would just go out and blindly vote for Donald Trump because I, as a white man, think that he, as a white man, has my interest at hand. Totally ridiculous logic. But again, like that's the tactic that they're using here, and this is, I think, this will be effective given like the Black Lives Matter mob waves that we see coming up. Actually, what was the guy George found? Like, you had this Jesuit trained LaShawn Ford. Yeah, LaShawn Ford. This guy came out and said that they have to stop teaching history because it's racist. This LaShawn Ford, Black Lives Matter agitator, attended Jesuit Loyola University at Chicago, contemplating becoming a Jesuit priest. Oh, you see, it all makes sense. It all ties back to the Jesuits. And actually, you know, you can look at the Jesuits actually like were involved in creating the Black Panthers with the Jesuit priest Eugene Boyle. I recommend you read this article here. There's lots of information. You can get this for free off Library Genesis, libgen.is. You see Eugene Boyle, Black Panther Party, and the New Clerical Activism. Literally, a Jesuit priest was one of the founders of the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers had their first meetings at the Jesuit Sacred Heart Parish Church in the Fillmore district of San Francisco. You can't make it up. You literally can't make it up. Would you look at that? Ridiculous. And again, but E. Howard Hunt, E. Howard Hunt said the Jesuits form the greatest intelligence service in the world. Actually, here's Jesuit Father Boyle discussing a free lunch program or free breakfast program, looks like, for the Black Panthers. So it looks like this in this video. There's lots of information out there on Jesuit Eugene Boyle. And you can, there you call him the Maverick Priest. He fought for social justice, marched with the Black Panthers. And again, it's not a coincidence that the most tyrannical black supremacist dictator of the 20th and 21st century, Robert Mugabe, was literally like a lay Jesuit. And I have that all documented. He said like he boasted about his Jesuit education, and he compared himself to Roman Catholic Adolf Hitler regularly. But not a coincidence, Mugabe was brought up by Jesuits also. There's the Jesuit here, Eugene Boyle. Okay, but back to Jesuit MSNBC. I do have to get going here.
Against President Kamala Harris, of course, one of the.
Well, actually, I was curious about the gematria. So today's date, 11 plus 8, 39. I was saying, if you guys got some interesting 39s, throw them in the live chat, and I'll list them out here. But yeah, definitely, this day has to be synced up on gematria too. No doubt that they chose this particular day to pick Jesuit puppet Kamala Harris to be vice president. So Kamala equals 39. Today's date equals 39. There you go. Are there any other words like government words that have 39 also? No, but that's probably it right there. Yeah, Kamala, and that would be regular, or is that in reverse? Bo, that cipher. Actually, no, that's right here. K11, A1, M13. No, great work. That's probably why numerologically her name syncs up with today.
Administration in a town full of Democrats who are open critics of the Trump administration.
What do they say here? A negotiated $25 billion settlement from big banks over foreclosures.
She really came to attention nationally.
Like they're saying that like she gave
part because of her role
the banks $25 billion while they were kicking out poor Americans out of their house, and that's something we need to praise her for.
Officials, her presidential.
Even says right here she refused to prosecute the Skull and Bonesman, One West Bank CEO Steve Mnuchin, now the Treasury Secretary.
Kamala Harris is the woman who can help him.
Wow, so they're even bringing up corrupt shit about her.
Of course, they had a famous clash during the first.
Oh man, she's so corrupt. But they're never going to bring this angle up here, which I showed you, which is the key reason why she is the vice president candidate, because she protected pedophile Catholic priests while she was DA in San Francisco. The Catholic Church controls the world.
Sure, yeah. He's not making this pick because he needs help in California. He's making this pick because Kamala Harris is a former prosecutor who's seen as a serious heavyweight player in the Democratic Party. She's African American. She's female. All of that will help win over constituencies that Biden needs.
You see, and like I just said, they're literally just throwing it out there because she's black, and they're hoping that's how low the Jesuits think of black people. They think they're so dumb that they're just going to vote for someone because they share the same skin color.
To win over. The question, I think, with Kamala Harris now is,
I'm saying that's like me saying, yeah, I would vote for Adolf Hitler blindly because he's a white man like me. That's the logic here, that they're like, it's so stupid to just blindly vote for someone because they share the same color of skin as you. But again, this is like the Jesuits getting people in like an animalistic, base mode of thinking, which they're experts at.
Be in the wake of these anti-police violence protests that we've seen throughout the country, will progressives and liberals see her as somebody who's on their side on the issue of police violence, or as a former prosecutor, will they say, this is somebody who is too aligned with the prosecutors' offices and police departments for our taste? So we'll see how this goes over with the progressive and liberal wing of the party. Of course, Joe Biden needs them too in order to win.
Well, that wing of the party doesn't have any say. I think you can read in the U.S. Supreme Court case Bush versus Gore. The American people have no say in selecting candidates, or candidates for office, or like the president or the vice president. It's the Electoral College that has the final say. the American citizen or United States citizens have no input on who gets elected president. And that was a U.S. Supreme Court case, Bush versus Gore. Because a lot of people forget, like George Bush was just appointed as president by like the 5 priests on the Jesuits Supreme Court.
In November, he's got to pull together the biggest coalition that he can to take on President Trump.
Well, there you go, right there. What is it? Wrestler equal 39. Oh, definitely. She does look demonic. Yeah, I mean, there's some clips in this video I got here on my channel, in my backup channel. Where did I go? Yeah, yeah, there's some clips in this video where she looks creepy too. Kamala Harris was a gatekeeper. Yeah, I got this on the Eric77 #2 and my Eric77 channel. I recommend everyone watch this Intercept video and read the. I was surprised that the Intercept wrote this article, to be honest, because they're very much so controlled opposition, but they occasionally do leak out pockets of good info. Yeah, ultimately, I think Trump's going to get reelected again, and again, they're by the Democrats picking Harris and making race a big part of the election. It's going to give Trump more ammo, and it's going to radicalize the right wing movements. Because I think Trump's agenda is going to, if you look historically, I don't think it's it's a hard thing to predict, but if you look at, he could be like the first president from America's transition from a republic to an empire, much like Rome did. At the fall of Caesar, and then you had like the emperors of like Sulla, and continued from there. Because there's so many executive, like Directive 51, like all these executive orders that Trump can sign. Everything, all the laws are on the table for the U.S. to just go from republic to empire, and Trump he's talking about he doesn't even think the election is going to be legitimate, so it's possible that he could suspend the election also. The Jesuits are a military order. They advocate militarism everywhere they go, so definitely Trump and his militaristic agenda fits the Jesuits. So but yeah, I think I'm going to sign off here, guys. Peace and love. Southern is Eric, are you still pushing the Jesuit perennial philosophy while claiming to be anti-Jesuit? And you say that as if like the philosophy, like the Jesuits like predate philosophy, like Neoplatonic thinking, which is pretty comical. And I could say to you, Southern is like, why does your buddy Veritas, why is his name Veritas Aequitas? Like, why is that a Latin name? Why does Veritas Aequitas come up in the Jesuit theater movie Boondock Saints at the end of the movie, when the Catholic assassins actually have Veritas and Aequitas tattooed on their hands? I'll ask you that question. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. There's also this book written by Jesuit priest Johannes Baptista Cares, S.J. in 1726. You see right here. Title of the book, Veritas et Aequitas Constitutionis Eugenitus. And they're saying this is your buddy who tried to shut down my YouTube channel. Same week, he does that. Jesuit Georgetown University and Jesuit Loyola Marymount University send bogus copyright strikes against me. So not looking good. Also, you're deflecting. You made a fallacious argument and then you just accused me of deflecting. So I'll leave it there. Peace and love. I'll catch you on the next one. Female black president. Yeah, actually, what show was it? I think it was the Boondocks that predicted that there'd be a female black president. So I guess female black president, female vice president, same thing. But peace and love, everyone.